Hey everybody, welcome to Just Hangouts, the official podcast of Just Nerds. I'm your host Blake, and today for episode 8, I'm joined by my good friend and Resident Evil aficionado, Jonathan. Say hi, John.
Hello.
And with the intros out of the way, let's just get started. What?
I know nothing, just the way I said it.
It's just like super,
Yeah.
It's very casual, it's okay, it's a nice hi.
No, you can't see, but when you said that, I looked off into the distance, and I was like, I did the little eyebrow raise, like, hello.
Oh, that's genius, that's
Yeah.
great. Staying in character, even though you can't see, I like
Always.
that, I like that.
Always.
Alright, so just to get into things, Jonathan, my friend, what you been up to? You been playing any games? You seen any movies?
I've been watching some stuff, you know?
Okay.
So real quick, Blake asked me this a week ago, and I never answered, but I watched Parasite, and it was very good.
Yeah, okay, so I've been hearing a lot of praise for this movie.
I forgot to answer your question a week ago.
No, it's okay.
I'll wait till the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That was smart.
But yeah, it was very good. Maybe the best movie I've seen all year.
Dang, okay.
It's hard to think of all the movies at the moment, but it's up there. Easily, I would say top 5 or top 3. But have you seen like Snowpiercer or anything this director has done?
I have heard of Snowpiercer. I know it is based on I believe it's a comic or a manga.
Yeah.
Is it a comic?
One of them.
Okay, I'm
Comic
not
or
sure
manga.
because I know it's a Korean director.
Yeah.
Right?
So I feel like it might be a manga.
Wait, wow, really? He did Snowpiercer?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I did not. Well, it's a pretty significant jump. Parasite's a kind of a family drama.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen all his movies, but from the ones I've seen, Snowpiercer's like the biggest
departure.
Like big budget. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the biggest departure for sure, especially with American actors, and all that, which is different than usual.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Parasite is a very personal story about this family. Obviously not to say much. I know Blake wants to see it, but yeah, it's this poor family and like this rich family, and like the differences kind of between the two and the interactions kind of they have. But it's very interesting, and
okay, sounds good. I mean, it sounds. I've heard nothing but good stuff about it. So it's
like I remember seeing the trailers saying like, oh shoot, like you won't expect like what happens in this, and I was like, I don't really get that from like this is the first the first half I would say, and I was like maybe that's just like trailers being trailers, but I was like this is still great, like I'm not complaining, but then like halfway through like a shift does happen. And I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. Okay. But yeah, I've seen Snowpiercer and Memories of Murder, which people compare to Zodiac a lot because it's about this killer that is killing women whenever it rains, and then these 2 detectives that are trying to catch him. And that movie was excellent. It is on Amazon Prime if you're ever curious to see it. I thought that was a great movie.
Memories of a Murder?
Memories of Murder.
Memories of Murder. Okay. Because I liked Zodiac, so.
Yeah, it ends kind of in the same, it's a similar kind of tone where you never really are sure of stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's very much the same tone. Like, they never really gave you the straight up answer, like, this is what's going on,
Okay.
But
I like that.
I would recommend it. It's free on Amazon Prime. Give it a watch. Then there's no really other way to see it, so. But yeah, great movie. I also saw Ford versus Ferrari 2 weeks ago.
Oh, how was that? I actually when I heard the concept, I was like, what the heck is this? Mm-hmm. Like I thought it was like some weird like documentary.
Yeah.
But then it turned out to be a biopic, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw trailers. I'm like, that doesn't sound too bad. How was it?
Yeah, true story. It's very good. It's very fun movie. A lot of energy to it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I would say the first third maybe is kind of slow, like before they start working on the car and everything. It's kind of the build up, setting up the characters, like the situation, I guess.
Yeah.
Backstory as to how everything started. But once they start on the building the car and trying to be Ferrari, that is when it gets really like more high energy, very more interesting. Yeah, also very good. Not much to say on that, just that it was good.
Okay, because I like movies that have that kind of tone. I really liked Lucky Logan, or Logan Lucky. Sorry.
Yes, very good.
Because I like that kind of kind of like it's kind of like the heist movie where things get a lot of energy towards the end because like that's when the actual conflict is going on.
Yeah.
So I want to check it out. I'm anticipating it. It looks like it's the best reviewed thing. Not out of all the films that are out right now, but like in terms of like kind of the immediate stuff that came out like this week prior, kind of recently. Because I was looking and like everything in Metascore is yellow except that it's in green, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, so I know what I'm seeing maybe this weekend. So
yeah, no, it's good. What would recommend? Let's see. I rewatched the Scooby Doo live action movie.
Really? Okay, just for fun, or
it was just on TV, and I went, oh wait, I remember this movie. Let's give it a watch. And it was while I was editing as well. So
what did you think?
I have a lot of fun memories of that movie as a kid. I remember after watching Scooby Doo, Where Are You? And then I was like, wait, the movie like it's hard to, it's like canon, but in my head I was like, this is like what happens after the show, like everyone grows up and then they kind of break up, then they get back together. Yo, this is awesome. Obviously a very very weird movie. Super weird. In terms of like, because they tried to be, I think it started as being a PG-13 like adult-ish film. I'm not sure if it was meant to be rated R, actually. That was what I was thinking, but I went with PG-13 because I think that's like. Well, James Gunn wrote the script for it. Yes, he did. Like you said, he did intend it to be a kind of parody / Scooby Doo satire, more adult, kind of poke fun at it while being. It's hard to say what it was going to be. Yeah. But obviously, the people at Warner Brothers were like, no. Because it's Scooby Doo, you can't do that. This is for kids. Yeah. So the feeling I got like watching it with that new lens is I've known about that for a while, but it's I've finally seen it with that context in mind, and it feels like that idea is kind of half baked. Like that satire is in it in a way, like with like the way the demons like you see the training video and it is pretty much like. Training the demons when they possess someone to act like kind of like the bro culture of like the late 90s, early 2000s, like homie, what's up, what's going on in the hizzy, all that. And oh my god, I do remember exactly what you're talking about. You can see that kind of satire in the way the characters are as well, and like the way they react to certain things. Like when Daphne, like Sketchy Dude tells Daphne like, don't go in that mansion. It's like, so you do want me to go in that mansion? It's like, what? No, don't go in that mansion. Oh no, that's what you're telling me, or is that what you wanted me to think? And so all that, but it kind of works. However, like I said, it feels half baked. Like it's meant to be more, but they went back on it because for obvious reasons. Yeah. So if you didn't know about that, you just be like, what is happening in this movie? Like, why is this happening? But when you know it's supposed to be more satire, you go, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Very weird movie. I don't know if it works necessarily. However, it is very weird and silly that I still enjoy it nonetheless. Yeah, it's a weird movie, but it's like it's oddly enjoyable. Like it's not like enjoyable because it's awful, but it's not enjoyable because it's like, oh, it's amazing. It's like enjoyable because it's just so wacky. Like live action Scooby Doo is just such a strange, like what a strange product of the early 2000s, I think, right? Yeah, I think that's when the movie came out. Like what a weird. Because in a way, it is aware. It's just like, again, it's kind of half baked. It isn't able to fully do that, so it is aware to a degree. So that's why I think it still works for me in a way. Go, okay, this is weird, but I think the movie also knows it's kind of weird. Yeah, well, I mean, freaking Scrappy Doo turns into a giant. Oh yeah, whatever. That creeped me out as a kid so much. I was like, oh god, why? Especially as a fan of Scrappy Doo as a kid, I was like, wait, what? Like, why is Scrappy such a jerk? Yeah, like, isn't it funny that like as a kid, I was like, Scrappy Doo's cool, but like as I grew up, I learned that everybody hated the goddamn puppy. Dude, I feel the same way. I did not know people thought that. I mean, the live action movie and even Mystery Incorporated, one of the best jokes. Yes! Oh my gosh! The statue of Scrappy. It's like, Fred goes to Velma, like, no. Don't look at that. We don't talk about that. It's Daphne being like, wait, Fred, isn't that? And Fred goes, look away, Daphne. We don't talk about him. He never happened or something like that. And I was like, that is so weird. It's so funny.
And that's my thing though, is like I didn't catch on until like I don't know, maybe a few years back when I learned that everybody just hates Scrappy Doo. I'm like, what? I don't get it. Like to such a degree where it's like it's a pretty intense hatred.
Yeah,
and I thought that was funny.
I would probably argue he's kind of an unnecessary addition, but
oh yeah,
I don't think to the degree of this is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I mean, like when Scooby Doo started getting older, around I don't know what year, but like they started crossing him over with like the Three Stooges and Batman and things like that.
That's when they made him more wacky.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, didn't they add was it his uncle or something? Like, I remember there being a white Great Dane that talked as well.
Was that related to Scooby Doo?
I don't know. I know the character exists, but I don't know who he is.
Well, I don't know. I just remember us seeing Scooby Doo's parents at some point, and Scooby Doo had to save them.
No. Oh, you know what? I remember hearing about that.
Because they would call him Scoobert, and I was like...
Oh,
I think I told you when the new trailer came out.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The animated Scooby-Doo, I thought, this isn't the Scooby-Doo canon. Where are his parents? His parents are established in his universe. Like, the gang knows his parents. And they name him Scoobert.
You know what's weird, though? Is they did that twice. Back in an older, I want to say like 90s-ish, straight-to-video movie that I own. I think it was Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood. Or Goes to Hollywood or something like that. They cover Scooby-Doo's origin, and it shows the gang, like all the kids, being their like the age they're at now, and going to buy Scooby-Doo, and like they buy him from a pet store.
That does sound familiar as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember that.
They've changed it like 5 times. I don't know. I didn't even know about the parents one until you just told me.
I don't appreciate this. Contradictions in the Scooby-Doo canon. This is ridiculous. Yeah. I will not take this.
Yeah. Well, to quickly touch on Scoob, the new animated movie, I guess the plot's gonna revolve around Scooby-Doo, like his not just like his origin, but it's gonna talk about like his destiny, which I don't know. Like the first thing I'm thinking of is like, oh my god, oh no, like something weird's gonna happen where it's like Scooby-Doo's meant to like
he's
save
like
the earth or something.
Related to Dynamite or something, or like
oh my gosh, that would be weird. Dynamite's a robot though.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that character's gonna be in it.
Yeah,
you know, which is
so
is dude. Do you know who else is gonna be in it? The freaking Captain Caveman and stuff like that.
What?
Yeah, you know those old like obscure Hanna-Barbera mystery solving teams that Scooby-Doo basically killed because they just weren't as popular.
Yeah,
they're gonna be in it.
Are they in it or just referenced?
I have no idea. They have they're casted, so I'm assuming that they're just like referenced or something. Yeah, weird, right? Like this movie is going to be really interesting because I don't know what the heck it is, because I'm looking at the trailer and I'm like, all right, the trailer looks like it's just kind of usual Scooby-Doo affair, you know, mystery and whatnot, with some origin stuff to like kind of give it some context. But like I'm looking at the IMDb and looking at like the cast, looking at like their version of the synopsis, and it's something like Scooby-Doo and gang must solve a mystery while they learn the truth about Scooby-Doo's destiny. And I'm like, what the heck? Scooby-Doo's he's a dog. Like, I don't know. So I don't know where that movie's gonna go, but weird how we got to this point, right? And first off, I think Matthew Lillard is amazing as Shaggy in that movie, because it's just so.
Wait, you mean the live action?
Oh yeah, live action, okay. and then the voice, like just in general.
No, he's great.
Yeah.
I think he just got, from what I read, I think he just got replaced as Shaggy, and like
he did
the other animated stuff, and like dang, he was really good.
Yeah, he got replaced with, oh god, I don't remember his name. He's like the Last Man on Earth guy. He was on that's the only show I remember him from. He's not a bad actor. He's great. He does not sound like Shaggy.
Well, every Shaggy voice has been pretty great. So we'll see. But yeah, also just real quick, that casting in the Scooby-Doo live action, just thinking about it back, all of it is perfect casting. Like, you think back, like, wow, they really nailed it somehow.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Jr. as Freddie.
Yeah.
That's just like that on its own. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, I agree. The casting in that movie is on point for pretty much everybody, I think. Like, and one thing that, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, isn't it weird how they kept Scooby-Doo's voice authentic? Like, they didn't try to get some big name actor to try to do it. That's man. That's like I respect that because like they recognize that you really can't replace the voice actor for Scooby Doo. You know, like you
I
have to
agree.
make him sound like Scooby Doo. So
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to go through these. I started watching Demon Slayer, the
oh,
next huge anime people love right now.
mm-hmm.
It's really good. It's fantastic. I watched the first like 3 episodes with an old roommate of mine, and the feeling that we both had was like, yo, this is how we felt when we watched My Hero. Like,
Wow,
it's really
really?
good. Because the first like, I remember thinking the first 3, maybe 4 episodes of My Hero. It's like for me, that's like the perfect intro to like any show. Like the way the first 4 episodes are constructed are so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And it's amazing every time I watch them. And
yeah.
the first like again like 3 or 4 episodes of Demon Slayer, it just like really pulls you into the world, and it's a really great intro to everything. Like wow, like it's really good. It's very like I knew it was violent, but I guess in terms of how no one, it doesn't feel like people are safe. I guess it's
Yeah,
one of
I know
those
what you mean.
things. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very good. I'm sure a lot of people have watched it already, but if you haven't, check it out. It's very good. I'm only on episode like 5 or 6 yet so far, but
Hmm.
I'm enjoying it.
I only know about this show because of I think her name is Nezuko,
Hmm.
and her little run when she's running away
Oh
from
yeah,
some crazy demon
yeah,
killing chick or something like that, and she's just like she's got the little sleeves and she's just like I don't know. I somehow that popped into my feed and it was adorable and I thought it was hilarious.
yeah.
So
But I mean, they got Ufotable who did the Fate series, and I was like, yo, bro, they did Fate again. Like the animation, like the way they do the camera, the
mm,
music. The music is like very Ghost in the Shell or like Near Automata. It's oh
mm,
my god, like it's great. It's They do such a good job with the way they do the camera and the effects and everything. It's very
okay,
good.
very nice. Okay, okay.
Yeah. The big one I watched, and I watched for this podcast. Blake, I told you about this. I
Yes,
watched
you did.
Frozen 2, baby.
Was it the greatest cinematic sequel of all time?
No.
Yeah, I know. I've been hearing. I've been hearing it's actually pretty, not bad, just like underwhelming. Like it's
I've
like oh
I've been hearing negative things about it, like on the
yeah,
internet. It's crazy. I mean, it's not unexpected, I guess, but I expect it to be more widely received, I guess.
yeah. Isn't it weird that like when I saw the negative reviews, I'm like, yeah, it's weird. I feel like I should be surprised because Frozen was like the darling Disney film forever. Like for Disney, for everybody, like everybody was like, oh my god, Frozen's the best. Frozen's amazing. Frozen's the greatest movie ever made. And then when the sequel was like rolling around, I feel like everybody was like, oh, well, I mean, huh, like I don't know. Like that's the surprising thing is like it wasn't surprising to hear that it was like.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Well, I mean, but that's weird though,
yeah.
right? Like,
You know?
like again, Frozen was like the darling. Like I kind of hated Frozen at when I had a Disneyland pass with my parents and stuff like that, because I'd go and my favorite building in the entire park out of Disneyland and California Adventure is the animation building at California Adventure. And it's like this place where you go, you just kind of sit, and like they have all the songs and like animation stuff going around. It's just like a perfect place to sit. For like the longest time, some moron decided, you know what? Let's like add every single Frozen song in there, and
I
make
mean,
it play like
moron
over...
or genius.
No, he's a freaking moron. I don't know why.
'Cause
Like the
everybody loves
whole.
it.
I know,
Everybody
but
loves
like
it.
that's the thing though, but that's what I mean though. Like that's how popular it was at the time, and then now it's like, oh, Frozen 2. Yeah, it's alright. You know what I mean? Like it's I don't know. Like
How do you feel about Frozen 1? Do you think it's okay?
it's I bro. I don't really know. I don't really. I don't know. Like I like it, but I'm not like crazy about it, and it's not because of anything really. I think it's just it got so overblown that I feel like I kind of have to feel like I don't know. Like I'm kind of indifferent, really. It's not like I don't know.
Yeah, well, I saw the movie maybe like a year or two after it came out.
Yeah.
So I watched it like, I know the Frozen hype never really died, but I watched it after it had chilled down a bit, and I watched it and I thought, I watched it going like, people talk about this so much, like, we'll see, and I thought it was pretty good. I guess on like, just to compare, if I had to do like, for my scale, I would say I'd probably give it like an 8. I thought it was a solid movie. Like I thought it was very good actually. I enjoyed it. Not blow my pants off, but I thought it was very good, very solid.
You're talking about Frozen 1, right?
Yeah, Frozen 1.
Okay, for a second I'm like, wow, that's actually really high for Frozen 2.
No, also to compare.
Okay,
but Frozen 2, I'd probably give us a 7, maybe a 6, but maybe around like a 7. I don't like it as much as Frozen 1. As someone again who didn't love the first one, but I thought it was good. I don't love it as much as the first one. See, with the first one, we've heard that like Frozen 1 was stuck in kind of like not development hell, but it was rewritten a few times, or they changed the script over. Like Elsa was supposed to be evil at first, but then they made her nice, and that makes sense. Like why Hans kind of becomes the villain at the last second, and some other things you can look at, and you can feel that. But I think for the most part, it comes together all right, But you can totally feel it, I would say. But this one, if I get the same feeling, but it's weird because I was thinking, okay, Frozen 1 had those issues because it was going through all those rewrites. Frozen 2 shouldn't have that problem, but it kind of does. I feel like maybe they wanted to do a lot in this movie. Maybe there's a lot of pressure or expectations because it's the sequel to like the biggest Disney movie ever, and they had to do a lot. But I feel like there's a lot of ideas I kind of feel half-baked. And I remember everyone has been kind of saying the story is kind of not bad, but it's very messy, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been passionate about like certain plot lines, like the last 20 minutes are like trash or whatever. I think I have to rewatch it again because it's hard for me to say, but
yeah.
I don't know if there's a specific moment I'm like, oh, that's like when this movie falls apart. But there's like a lot of moments like, I don't know. Oh, they're doing okay. The movie is kind of all over the place in terms of the story, I would say. Parts I went, oh, why did this happen? Okay, I mean, it's a Disney movie, so like, it's kind of weird to do all those nitpicks, but I would say this story is kind of all over the place. The animation is fantastic, obviously. Just God, it looks so pretty. And just real quick, Anna is great, I just remember Frozen 1, all the advertisements were Elsa and like Let It Go. And when I watched the movie, I thought, wait, why is no one talking about Anna? Like, Elsa's okay, I guess? But Anna has so much personality and she's so much fun. And Kristen Bell was amazing as Anna. And I came out of Frozen 1 going, Anna was amazing. I thought Elsa was okay. And I think the reason is watching Frozen 2, Anna has like all the personality and like the character. Elsa, they give all the story and like all the plot. Oh, my bad. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh. Alright, we'll edit that out.
Wait, did you answer it or?
No.
Oh, okay, I couldn't tell if you were answering it or...
I meant to lower my ringtone, but we'll just edit that out. My bad.
It's fine. I'll do my best to edit that out. That's good.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, okay, but... anyways,
yeah,
go ahead, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, so Anna has like all the personality, I think, and Elsa to give all the plot, because like in Frozen 1, it's like, oh, my powers, how do I use, like, I'm afraid of my powers, what do I do? And it's like, okay, that's for conflict, which is fine. But in this one, it's like, oh, like, I have this mission or this responsibility to do in Frozen 2, and like, how do I do it? Or like, I have to do this thing, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of all her character is in this movie, and that made me realize, okay, that like that's why they give Elsa all the plot and the story, kind of they use her to push that along, while Anna is able to breathe and have a real personality and character.
Yeah, I like 1,000% agree with you. I think I agree 100%. Like, Elsa was kind of the weak link in Frozen 1. Felt like you're right, she has all the story, and the story's focused around her. And Anna just has, like I can't really describe Elsa other than she's a loner. But Anna, I can describe her as like peppy and upbeat and like kind of starstruck. Like I can give her like a couple descriptors just off the top of my head. And I haven't seen the movie in years, so it's like this is all stuff that I remember specifically.
Yeah, Elsa, again, seeing Frozen 2, she's, I mean, I guess caring, but I mean, so is Anna. So like that's, I don't know, conflicted.
Yeah,
there's a lot of that.
Yeah, I've heard super conflicting things because I've heard it's like one of the biggest problems that the film has is I don't think this isn't a spoiler. It's like they split them up a lot. Like they split Anna and Elsa up, and when they're apart, Elsa's really boring. Like as a character, like story wise, she probably does some interesting stuff. But it's like I hear that I don't know if that's true. Is that true? Do they kind of?
Those things are true, but I don't think it's as big as it was said to be, you know?
Okay, that makes
like,
sense.
Like, at some point I was like, well, they're not split up yet. And then they were, like, maybe, non-spoiler, but like halfway, I would say. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not, like, as bad as I thought. Because, like you said, the way people described it as they're always split up. They're, like, never together. Like, oh, it's not as bad.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. It's not like Ratchet and Clank bad, where, like, that's the appeal of the movie. And then... they basically say, well, screw that.
Yeah. Kristoff is a good boy. He's a good boy.
I heard he has no real arc in the movie. I heard he's kind of in the beginning, and then he sings a song, and then he's, like, gone for a while. Is he in the movie?
Again, he's in it more than I thought he would be, based on what people said, but he is not in it as much as, like... It's weird to say. I guess it's been a while again. I don't know if he's in it as much as the first one, but he still has a bit of a presence, I would say. Okay. At least from seeing it the first time.
So not not completely absent.
No, he doesn't just show up like in the first 20 minutes and then disappear. It's not like that. That's what I expected. The last thing I have to say, well, obviously music is good. Yeah, it's really good. But at some point, Kristoff has a I don't know if you'll get this, Blake, but he has like a 80s music video kind of song where they'll do like I don't know the exact terms, but like when you have like someone singing, right, and they have their head singing, and like whenever they sing a new line, like their head will pop up like on the right side, and you know what I mean? Like they'll crossfade their face throughout the video.
Oh, yes, I know exactly. Is it like an emotional song?
Yes,
like where exactly. You got like on the left side you have them in like a freaking chair or something, and then on the right you have like a blown up version of their head singing in the opposite direction.
Exactly.
Like okay,
yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's funny.
I didn't know exactly how to describe it, but you got it on the head.
Yeah.
That they do that 100%, and I thought it was really funny because it is emotional, but they do that, and I thought it was great. Nobody else in the theater got the joke.
Oh my god! How do you not get that? So melodramatic. Like that's funny.
It is a good song, but it's funny because of how they present it. Yeah. And I thought it was hilarious, but nobody else was laughing. I was like, oh damn it, they don't get. I look like an idiot because
the masses don't be sheep, you fools.
In a good way though. Like it's meant to be like that, but nobody understood.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, so that those are my thoughts on Frozen 2. Not super like passionate about it either way, but I thought it was a fine movie. I enjoyed it.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Real quick, do you know what we're getting after Frozen 2, like Disney wise? I don't know. I keep forgetting because I know it's a sequel, right? Like I know we're not getting like original stuff until 2022, 21.
I don't know, to be honest.
Because is it Big Hero 6 2? Are they doing that? Is that a thing?
Are they doing that?
I don't know. I know they did a series, or they're doing a series. I don't know if they're touching that, but I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I don't know. In terms of animated stuff, I don't keep a lot of track of that. Because right now it's live action remakes and Marvel and Star Wars. It's hard to keep track of the animated ones.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I know Wreck-It Ralph 3 is being made, which I don't know why. I don't know where else you're going to go with this, but whatever.
Yeah. 2 is okay.
2 was I didn't really like 2 that much.
No, me either. But so, I had a lot to say on my watching and playing. But last thing I will put is I've been playing RE5 on stream. Mm-hmm. I will still be playing it this week as of the time we're recording this. And it is It's okay, I think. I don't I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think it's okay. The co-op definitely helps. It makes it fun.
Yeah.
But it's okay so far. I think what made me realize that is when we played the Lost and Nightmares DLC when you're in the mansion with Chris and Jill, and I'm playing with my friend Kyle. And me and Kyle thought this is like obviously a completely different game because it tries to harken back to RE1 in the setting, but also the tone and how it's paced. And we were like, wow, it was short and we didn't really do much in the DLC, but that felt a lot more fun and interesting than what we've done in RE5. And yeah, so it is a well-made game, I would say. Like the shooting feels good and all that, but it's okay. As of right now, I've had more fun playing RE Revelations than RE5 so far. So yeah.
Is it because Revelations goes more all-out shooter than Resident Evil 5? Because Resident Evil 5 is
no, I don't think so. I think it's just more interesting.
Okay.
Like Revelations, you got like on the ship, like it is more convoluted, I would say, like 100%. But you got like on the ship, and it's kind of interesting. You got Jill doing her thing, and like her and Walker, I can't remember his name, but they're trying to figure out what's going on there. And then you got this kind of conspiracy, but then you got Chris and this other girl doing that, and you got people betraying other people. But just I guess the setting and what's going on, it feels more interesting. I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen next? RE5, I'm like, okay, let's get through this, like the swamp, like okay, let's get through this part. It's not really that interesting. This is okay, like I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, I get you.
It's not the gameplay. It's more of the setting and the story, I guess.
That makes sense. I get that.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's what I've been watching and playing. Okay. Sorry that was so long, but
no. Hey, you're good. You've been watching a lot though. Dang, my friend. That's a lot. That's good. I'm glad you've been watching some good stuff, it sounds like. As for me, anything... I've been playing every time I'm going to sit here, I'm going to tell you Smash Brothers. But also been playing a little bit of Blaze Blue, but we'll get into that a little later when we have a different discussion.
Yeah. I didn't want to talk about that either, but yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that right now. But I have been playing one indie game that
A different game? Other than Smash?
I know, right? What a weird time we live in. I have been playing a indie game that has some pretty big critical appeal. It's called Grizz, Gris.
Okay, I bought Grizz and I plan to play it
It's
soon.
Probably... I haven't finished it, so I don't know if it's like the greatest game of all time. But I will say now, honestly, I have never been more visually immersed in a video game.
I know, dude, yeah.
Ever. Like,
that's why I picked it up, because visually it looks incredible.
It is incredible. There was like literally... this is weird. This is going to sound weird, but I was literally playing the game, and I tried to make sure like I played it in the best settings, so like surround sound, doors closed, lights down. So I'm trying to really create that immersion, right? But I literally had like a straight up like weird out of body experience with this freaking thing, right? Because like I was playing and then the camera zooms out to show you like you as a little like dot amongst this big landscape. And I just remember staring there for like a solid 15 seconds. And then I like kind of snapped back to reality. And I was like, whoa, where was I? Where did I go? What happened? Like it was crazy. Like, the music and just the visual design, I was like, dude.
I mean, it looks like that kind of game.
This game took me out. Like, this game took me away, and I was like, whoa. Did I just reach the next level? Like, it was crazy. So
what is the gameplay mostly? Because
it is a puzzle platformer.
Okay, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, and it's a great puzzle platformer. It's super simplistic. The puzzles are not like brain-taxingly like, oh my god, how am I gonna figure this out?
All right,
it's
cool.
really
that
like
means I can do it.
Yeah, it's super like, oh yeah, that's easy, and it's definitely a game that feels like it doesn't want to like make you feel any sort of like, I don't know, like it doesn't make you want to. It doesn't want to make you mad. It seems like it really wants to like just kind of ease you in. You know, you're getting better. Like it's such a peaceful game. Like it's a great game so far. So,
nice. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah. I did play one other game now that I think about it, and this is the complete opposite of a relaxing experience. So, I decided to get the NES thing for Switch because I was like, you know what? It's free. It's got some games, even though I own a majority of the ones already on there. So let me just get it. And so I was scrolling through the library, and I was like, oh, you know what? I've been hearing a lot about this game, like recently, because of Smash Brothers. And I was like, you know what? Let me give it a try. That game is Ninja Gaiden on the NES. And I wanted to try it because I've heard that, like, oh, Ryu Hayabusa might be in Smash. I'm like, okay, well, let me give it a look, right? You can't see it because John has my face cam on, but god dang, dude, that game was hard. I beat it. I did beat it. Oh, okay. So I'm but however, let me give a asterisk right there. I beat it, but it is only thanks to the rewind feature that you can find in the NES online system. That's the only way I was able to beat that freaking game, because that game whooped my butt, dude. That game was hard. Dang. But you know what? I gotta say, I do understand why people like it. It's weird. It's hard as frick, and I hated it. I was like screaming at some points. Like dude, you know me. I don't get super mad when it comes to game. I get passionate, but like only when like the craziest stuff happens do I like stand up and start flipping out. That happened a lot towards the end because the game starts getting absolutely stupid with its placement of enemies and stuff like that. But it's weird enough that like it was really fun. Like it's a good game. The controls are really tight. And it's just a solid platformer. Do not play this game raw. Ever in your life. You will hate everything. You will become a embodiment of hate, like the spirit of hatred itself. Do not play this game raw. Do not even dream of playing this game raw. Play it on the classic where you have a rewind feature, or on an emulator where you can rewind and reload save states. But god dang, that game whooped my butt, and it was sick though, dude. Like it was a good game. Kind of makes me feel like, you know, Ryu Hayabusa would be actually pretty cool in Smash, but because I
still disagree.
I can see why, but like here's my thing. If they go with the NES stuff he has, I'd be down, because he's got some cool stuff in the NES version. Believe it or not, it's not just one slash and then that's it. He's got some pretty interesting stuff that I think would make for a unique enough character. I still think that like there are more interesting choices significantly, because I think we have Sheik and Greninja. We're kind of good on ninja characters, but if Ryu does make it in, I'd be like, okay, cool. And
well, my only experience is from the Ninja Gaiden, like on the PS3.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, I mean, those games are still fun, but like, yeah, he does cool stuff in those too. But I just think, I don't know.
Well, they're super wacky. Like they changed styles significantly. Like the first one is he's still fighting demons in the NES version, but it's like in the 3D games. Oh my god, he's doing some crazy stuff. But yeah, so those are the two games I played. I did, however, watch two things on different streaming services. So the first one I watched is, I got Disney Plus, right? You know, and everybody's talking about Disney Plus, you know? And you got some fantastic content, right? You got like The Mandalorian. Oh, shoot. You got
what did you watch?
You got some like Marvel stuff going, right? You got like classic Disney Channel shows, right? Okay. So like you got some great stuff, right? So what did I do when I first got Disney Plus? I wanted to know. Went into that search bar and I asked, do these guys have Winnie the Pooh, Pooh's Grand Adventure?
Ooh.
And they did. They also had the Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which I thought was a dream. I didn't think I actually like. I didn't think that show existed, but I remember the theme song. Do you know what theme song I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, see what I mean? That's it. I like, as soon as I literally clicked on the show just to hear the theme song. I was like, oh my god, it's real.
But you got Disney Plus.
I did, and I have only watched Pooh's Grand Adventure.
Bro, I thought we were getting that together. I thought we were gonna get that. They were gonna share that.
Well, I got it for free, so it's like.
Did you?
Yeah, I got it for free because like my I think it's like a Verizon deal or something like that. And it's like you get like a couple months or like a year free. I don't know how long, but.
Dang. Well, you wanna maybe share that password, me.
That's fine. But yeah, so I watched Pooh's Grand Adventure. The best Winnie the Pooh film ever.
Well, you're wrong because the Tigger movie exists, sir.
Okay, shoot. That's a Tigger movie, though.
It's a Pooh movie still, sir. Yes.
It's Tigger. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
Tigger movie is fantastic.
You also have the newest Winnie the Pooh one, which came out a few years ago, which is also...
That was actually really, really great.
Yeah.
But Pooh's Grand Adventure, I think, is...
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked. Like, it's been a while. I used to watch that movie all the time when I was a kid because I loved it. And now I see why I loved it so much. It's really well structured. Like, surprisingly well structured. Like, the way it builds up to, like, its theme and, like, what it wants to say is surprisingly good. It's funny. It's got genuine heart. It's got really good moments. This is a solid movie. I'm impressed that, like, something from my childhood held up so well.
Yeah, that's always a good feeling.
Yeah, so I mean that's all I have to really say about it. It's just like it's solid.
Before you move on to your second thing,
go ahead.
How is Disney Plus in your experience?
It's fine. It's a streaming service with Disney stuff, so it's like.
I was just curious because got people saying, "Oh, it's super buggy," and, like some people don't like certain things about it. So I was curious how you felt about it.
To be fair, I've only been using the mobile app, so I don't know if that is affecting it. On my phone specifically, I haven't been like online. I also haven't been like on any like Apple TV or other streaming device thing. So maybe that stuff is having problems, but for me, it's been pretty like fine. Just like Netflix, just works.
All right.
So yeah, I haven't had like a bad experience with it. I do, however, have some gripes. They don't have the new stuff. Like they don't have the stuff they're currently airing, but they also don't have stuff that's ran before. Like Star versus the Forces of Evil, right? That's like
this not on there?
No, right? Like that's what I said. What the heck? Like it's not on there, and it just finished like I think earlier this year, last or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, what the heck? You can at least have like the first 2 seasons and then add the stuff you finished, but what's going on? So maybe it's censorship because I don't know if you heard this. They censored Gravity Falls.
I did see that. Yeah.
For some bizarre reason, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah. So. I instead of watching The Mandalorian, the show everyone's talking about, I watched Pooh Bear. I made the right choice.
Well, maybe my mutual friend Blake can give me the hookup. We will see.
Yeah, we'll do a Let's Watch of The Mandalorian and get copyright stricken by Disney.
Nice. Baby Yoda, baby.
I am curious about that. I wonder, is it Yoda or is it like a baby Yoda?
I think, from what I've heard, I think it's a baby...
species of Yoda.
Yeah, but nobody knows what Yodas are called, so
it's Yoda.
Just yeah.
It's baby Yoda.
It's a Yoda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So to move on to the second thing I watched, I finished a animated Netflix show called The Hollow.
Okay.
Don't know if you've heard of it. You probably haven't because nobody else has.
Nice.
It is an animated show that was created for Netflix, and it's about 3 kids who wake up with no memories in a weird kind of bunker, and they wake up into a completely strange world, and they have to figure out who they are, what's going on, and how they can get home or anything like that. Started off like impressively well. I think the start is pretty good. I think the characters were pretty good except for one. One of them was like a lot of the characters just didn't develop, which is sad. You start off being like, okay, well they're gonna get better, right? And they don't. They don't really change. They just kind of like, But so this is the part that I have to really kind of articulate well.
Okay.
Started off good, right? I was like, okay, all right. So we got some interesting mystery stuff going on here. This isn't like amazing. It's not like the greatest show ever. But it's like, okay, you know what? Let's see what you got. Watched it all the way through. I don't know if I've ever been more disappointed by a show.
More than Samurai Jack last season?
It's kind of the same feeling, actually.
Okay.
Being honest, it's the same feeling of Samurai Jack, Voltron, and then now Voltron. This. Yeah, like these those shows, they start off real good, but then somehow they just like you see it happening too. You see it happening, and it's like, what's happening? Oh, no.
So does the show end, or is it that it ends, like, on nothing?
No, so it ends. It ends on...
How long is it?
I almost said 10 seasons. 10
10
episodes.
episodes. Okay.
It's 10 episodes. Each episode's about like 15, 20 minutes long, I think.
Oh, okay.
How do I put this? Okay, so it starts off really well because like they're asking the questions that the audience is asking. Like, are they asking like, what are we? Like, what's going on? Like, are we dead? Are we like, like whatever? They're asking themselves like all the theory questions, right? And it's like, okay, that's clever. They're asking the questions we're asking. But like, I don't know what episode it is, but it's like around episode like I think 6 or 7. They just start doing things that go nowhere, or they introduce things that have like they just half baked, and it's like, why did you even introduce it if you weren't going to do anything with it? And I'm going to leave it at that in terms of non-spoiler stuff, because to get into the gripes, like, I got to spoil it. So John, you don't need to watch it. But my recommendation is that...
It sounded interesting at first. I guess I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, my recommendation is watch the first, 2 episodes. If you're still into it, I'd say watch it all the way through and then, go in the comments of this video and tell me what you think. Because maybe I'm wrong. But, that's all I'm going to say for spoilers. So let me talk about the spoilers. So let me give you the answer to... Oh, and then if you don't want spoilers, but you want to keep listening, I'll put a timestamp on the video to show where to skip to. But that ends the spoiler-free part. Okay, so let me tell you what happens. So they ask in all these questions. So they are 3 kids. They wake up, no memories, but they have powers, right? Each of them have unique powers.
Oh, okay.
And stop me if you've heard this one before. So one of them, so they all have powers, and they kind of uniquely begin to discover that they have crazy cool powers and stuff like that. And as they go on, they're meeting crazy, crazy stuff, right? Like they meet the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They fight a civilization of minotaurs. They go to space and fight aliens. It's like they're jumping all over the place, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so they're going all over the place. And then there's this mysterious guy where if they shout, "Help, please," this mysterious guy comes down and warps them to a random spot. And they don't know who they are because they don't even remember their names, because they found out what their names are through little tags in their pockets, like little fortune cookie things that say their names. So at around episode, I don't know, 6 or 7, or maybe 8, somewhere later on, it's slowly kind of revealed a bit, but the twist is that they're in a video game. And I was like, oh, I mean, okay. And then the immediate question is like, okay, well, that's not bad. I guess that makes sense. But it's like, but then they start asking, well, who put us in this video game that we can't get out of? Can't they just turn the game off, right? The game starts getting corrupted or something, right? It starts glitching out, and they have to get out, or else something will happen. I don't know. It doesn't really specify. I thought it was an SAO thing. I thought well, if they don't get out, they're just gonna die.
Yeah, but
yeah. So okay. So here's what happened. So at the very last episode, they have to fight a dragon as the final boss, right? They beat the dragon. Cool. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool stuff. They fight the dragon. They beat it. They jump through a portal, and it goes to black, right? I'm like, watch this freaking show. Cut to live action. And show the players being them.
Huh.
Right?
Okay.
I'm like, watch it do this, right? It goes to light screen goes black, comes back, and it's not. It's animated, right? I'm like, okay. Oh, okay. John.
Oh.
It pans out and shows a live action audience watching the animated version on the screen. I'm like, oh my god, I called it.
Okay.
I'm like, oh my god, I knew it. Oh my god. So, turns out the Hollow is a game show.
I was about to say, is it a reality show you're watching?
Yes, it is a game show that 6 kids participate in, and they're in teams of 3, right? There was the douchebag team that got introduced way too late to have any sort of anything. They were and they were actually terrible. Like they were all just douchebag kids. The other three are like the main protagonists that we have followed throughout, and it's like, man, it was so weird because the ending episode is so freaking rushed because they don't explain anything, and it's like okay. At the very end of the episode, they cut to like the 5 hours before everything happened, right? And then they go back and it's all like, here, you get to pick your power. Okay, that's how they got the powers. And then they jump into the game and that's where the show ends. And it's like, dude, but they dropped so much. There was a romantic subplot. I'm sorry, not a romantic subplot. There was a kiss between two characters. Never came up again.
Okay, yeah.
Never came up again. Right? There was like romance between, oh no, sorry, not romance. There was like questions and things that happened that just got completely dropped. And I'm like, dude, why would you even introduce that stuff if you're not going to do anything with it? So, I mean, it's getting a season 2, but straight up, I don't know what you can do with season 2. You just
different characters.
That's what I'm thinking.
No mystery.
That's what I'm thinking. Like the mystery's gone. Like we know what it is now. I mean, unless you want to take the same characters and like have them, I don't know, again, do an SAO thing where it's like, we got to go back. And I'm like, dude, no, like, bro, it was whack.
Yeah, that ending sounds kind of disappointing because it sounds like the one where it's not just like, oh, we're in a video game, but then that means, oh, nothing that happens really matters.
Right? Like, that's the thing.
Everything that happened before has a different context now where you're like, oh, so it kind of meant nothing then.
Yeah, and it's like, I got some major SAO vibes from it. Just because of, like, the fact that, like, I think that twist, like, that it's a video game, it just kind of hurts it. Like, it's just, it's fun if you do it right, but it's like, it's not impactful, you know? Like, kind of what you were saying, where it's like, kind of the stakes are gone, because it's like, oh, it's all fake, and we're not going to die. Because what happened was they had to collect this branch from a magical tree. This is all very strange when I say it this way. But they had to collect this branch from a magical tree and give it back to the tree so that the tree could open up a portal home. And they were competing against these 3 other douchebag kids, okay? So they fight the 3 other douchebag kids for the staff, right? Or it's the piece of the tree. It's just a staff. The 3 douchebag kids just leave, right? As the game is collapsing. So, like, the glitches are happening, things are popping in and out of existence and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, why did they leave? Like, why not stick with the 3 kids that have the stick and go home with them? Are you not gonna die? Because, like, the guy who's been helping them turns out to be the game's coder, right? The game's designer. He's like the host. And he comes out and he says, you guys need to get out now or else you're going to die or something like that. The game's collapsing, right? And so I'm like, okay, so these 3 kids are going to die. They've accepted their fate. They're just going to die. No, at the very end they wake up and I'm like, what the heck? What is going on anymore? Like,
well, from, again, what you've told me, from it just to be just a reality show, it's like, oh, that's like, you can still do the game concept, like maybe someone put us in here for some reason. But no, if it's just a reality show, then...
Yeah. But you know what's even worse, though? The characters, when they find out they're in a video game, they're actively starting, like, I want to know who put us in this game. Like, I want to know who did this to us, right?
Yeah.
Then it turns out to a game show.
Yeah, so...
And they step out of the machines, and they win the trophy, and it's like, you idiots did it. Like,
so there's no conflict.
There's no conflict there. Like, you introduce this idea of, like, I want revenge on this guy. And it's like, oh, but, well, it was your guys' fault. You guys decided to be on here. And it's like, what the heck? Like, no. It's so, yeah, man. I mean, it opened my eyes to, like, the fact that Netflix really just doesn't like me. Like, almost every show I watch on Netflix is just like, it starts off real good, but then it doesn't quite get there.
That's like Dragon Prince, baby. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, that's the only one I feel like is going to actually...
I haven't seen season 3 yet, but it's looking pretty hype. I can't wait.
See, that's the one I have on my thing. I've heard, like, I want to watch that. I've heard She-Ra's pretty good. I don't know. I think I heard She-Ra's also a little, like, less intense.
Story
like,
focused?
yes, than like, Voltron.
Yeah.
So, like, you know,
It's time for you to watch Dragon Prince.
It's probably my time for me to watch Dragon Prince. I also kind of want to watch Carmen Sandiego because that looks kind of cool. I like that visual style. But like, dude, every single time it's like I'll watch like an animated show that looks promising.
Sounds like
Starts off promising, and then it's like, frick, we just ran out of money or time or whatever, and so. And then this brought me to I'm gonna touch on this briefly because I can go on this for hours. But like, man, it just brought me to the fact that anime is so much better. Like,
you know,
it really is. Like, American made stuff, it just doesn't have its teeth anymore. Like, there's no Spectacular Spider-Man. There's no Batman Beyond anymore.
What's weird is when you get like, it's been happening more now because of Netflix and all that. But you get those shows like, okay, it's not just episodic. We're telling a story, but like you said, from what I've experienced, it fizzles out for some reason. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know what it is, but the ending, like, they can't do it. Like, Samurai Jack, it started off, like, amazing.
Yes. Oh, and my God.
It became, like, whatever. And then the ending was just like, okay, we're done. Like, okay.
Yeah.
You kind of built it up as this big, epic conclusion.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't do the one thing you set out to do, which was conclude, God dang it. Like, what is it with TV shows having trash endings? Like, people are still upset about, like, Sopranos and, like, Dexter and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't get it. What happens? Like, do they just, like, it went, like, people are still upset about Lost. And it's like, I don't know, man. What a weird time. But, like, dude, this makes, again, like I said, it makes me look at, like, My Hero that has so much ambition, so much, like, storytelling drive, so much, like, energy. And, like, man, you're just, like, when you see Deku, like, crying because he just wants to be the best. He just wants to try, and, like, you know, he just needs to, like, you're just like, you go, man. You go do it, bro. Kill it. Good show. But then you watch something else, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, I don't really care if you, I mean, I don't really care. Or, like, the result is, like, you don't really, like, want them to succeed. You're just like, oh, well, I mean, you know, I don't know. Like, Samurai Jack is, like, a good example because it's like, man, when the first 3 episodes were just
they're
masterpieces of just storytelling and everything. They were just perfect. Especially episode 2. Oh, episode 2.
Yeah, episode 2.
Oh, episode 2. It's like, it's beautiful and I love it. It's just like, but then, like, towards the end, I'm like, Jack, just get home. Just get home and kill him already. Like, let's just get it over with. You know what I mean? But, like, when I was watching episode 1, 2, 3, I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? How is he going to get back to the past? What's happening? When's he going to, he doesn't have a sword anymore. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? Oh my gosh, like, I'm flipping out. But, like, towards the end, I'm like, just get him back to the past. Just kill Aku. Let's just get this over with. Like, because we know what's going to happen. And it's like, man, I just want this to end. So, I don't know, man. Anime's winning the fight. But shoot, I'm going to be straight up and say, I don't even know if it's a fight anymore. So, that concludes it for what I've been watching. But hey, John. I wanted to know, because we have not talked about it, surprisingly, even though we've talked about it in conversation. We haven't talked about it on the podcast yet. And I wanted to bring this up. This will probably be super quick, but this is one of my topics. John, you remember the cinematic masterpiece that was Justice League?
Scooby Doo 2? Monsters Unleashed? Oh. Yeah, that one, yeah.
Yes. You remember
I think
how
Scooby Doo 2 might be a better movie
than Justice League? Actually, probably right.
Honestly, yeah.
You remember it though, right? The cinematic marvel that was Justice League.
I do, but I wish there was like another version that we had that was an improvement in every way.
Wow, do you really? It's funny you mention that because one doesn't exist.
What? But everyone's been telling me that the Snyder Cut is out there and it's real.
So I actually wanted to bring this up, and I actually decided to do a little bit of more research because, like,
I forgot we really haven't talked about this.
Yeah, I know, which has been interesting, right? Because it's like it's not a big deal. It's just kind of funny, right? Yeah. So I decided to actually dig into it. I'm like, okay, so what is this, right? Where is this thing coming from? Because for those of you who don't know, Zack Snyder was the original director of Justice League, but he, I think it was like partway through, a significant portion of the way through, he dropped out because his daughter unfortunately committed suicide. And he obviously didn't want to work on the project, so they hired Joss Whedon, Mr. Avengers himself, to come in and help put the film back on track, re-edit the film, just do whatever. But the more digging I did, I learned some pretty interesting stuff. So I want to talk about the interesting stuff, and I want to talk about like what is actually like what we know exists, and like then we're gonna quickly just delve into, do you think we should see the Snyder Cut? So just to give you some backstory, John. So the Snyder Cut is actually a real thing. It does exist. However,
okay,
it's not, apparently from what I understand from everybody who's seen it, everybody has said it is not meant to be watched. Because A, it's 3 hours long because it wasn't edited down. It was meant for the studio to get a feel for like what the movie was going for, like trying to get an idea of what Snyder wanted as a vision. So it's like 3 hours and 30 minutes long. It's a long movie. 2, it's significantly the same movie that we got. It's not anything crazy. There was just a few more teases and a few more things put in.
Okay.
So
who has said this? Like just people who fought, like this, like the actors.
Yeah. So like the actors, the producers, a lot of this is all this. First of all, I want to note that my source is Wikipedia, so it's not the most reliable source.
Okay.
But if you want to, delve into it, I think that this is probably the most research I'm going to do, unless this blows up or something. So, the Snyder Cut is real. There is a cut of the film that Zack Snyder directed and put together, but it's the same. It's almost the same movie, and it's 3 hours long, very long, and yeah, it's really long because they didn't edit it down and stuff like that, and it's not finished. It's not like the CGI unfinished.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like CGI is probably not done for most of those scenes, or like I don't know, some might still be in the storyboarding phase.
Yeah, the visuals are not complete and stuff like that. So that's what you'd be seeing if they released it raw. Yeah. And that's pretty much that's all there is to the Snyder Cut.
So that's it.
However,
I'm saying the way like the actors and the people who claim that it's real, they act like it's the second coming. Like this is the real Justice League. This is what should have been the success.
So it is significantly. Here's the difference. Here's the thing that I've kind of learned. It's the same film, but here's the kicker. It's Zack Snyder. From what I understand, this is just kind of rumor. It's Zack Snyder injecting humor into his films, which sounds awful to me.
I don't know what's worse.
Yeah,
Joss Whedon throwing his humor into a Zack Snyder movie, or Zack Snyder making his own.
What's your superpower? I'm
God.
rich. Wow, what a great.
Was so bad in the movie.
That line. So that's what I hear, but what I understand is that the Snyder Cut actually delves way deeper than it just does for Justice League. Do you want to hear this? Because this is actually kind of fascinating.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when Justice League was being developed, or I'm sorry, when Batman vs. Superman was being developed, Zack Snyder and I forget the other writer's name. I cannot remember his name. But they got together and they laid out pretty much the entire plan for the DCEU. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it started with Batman vs. Superman kind of being the darkest of the films because Superman dies and yada yada yada. Then in Suicide Squad, the villain was actually going to be Steppenwolf. It was not going to be Incubus and Enchantress. It was going to be Steppenwolf because Steppenwolf. Well, so here's the thing.
Wait, what? How can Harley Quinn beat Steppenwolf?
I don't know, bro. But that was the initial idea, right? So like in Suicide Squad, they have the characters fight Steppenwolf, and Steppenwolf is obviously related to Darkseid, so that's where they kind of start to introduce the Darkseid stuff, right? Then in Justice League, the same stuff, generally speaking, happens, right? Like they beat, but the villain was supposed to be, I forget who they said the villain was supposed to be, but I think it was Darkseid, right? So they come, they have to resurrect Superman, and the plan was to, instead of doing it like Marvel, right? Where you have solo film, solo film, solo film Avengers, and then solo film Avengers, right? They wanted to do it differently. They had solo film, and then 3 Justice League films back to back.
Oh, God.
That was their plan. So they had 3 Justice League films, and they were to form the trilogy of that arc. With the first Justice League being the kind of forming of the team and the getting ready for the fight, and the second one being what is described as the Empire Strikes Back of Justice League.
Of course they would say that.
Yes, that's what Kevin Smith described it as. He said he
did. Of course he did.
He said he was working on, I forget what movie set, but like he met some of the people who were working on it and knew about Zack Snyder's vision, and they said like, yeah, it was going to be like the darkest one. So here was what was going to happen. Darkseid would come, kill Lois Lane. That's why in Batman vs. Superman, that's why in Batman vs. Superman.
Oh no, yeah, okay.
So Darkseid would kill Lois.
Yeah.
Superman would, for some reason, I don't know the connection, but for some reason would be susceptible to the anti-life equation, which I didn't know hypnotizes people. I thought it just killed everything, but I didn't know that. So Superman would have been then a kind of paragon, or whatever you want to call it, of Darkseid, right? And so that's then in Justice League 3, that's where you get the
going back in time.
Yeah, what they call the Nightmare with a K, which was Batman's nightmare. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So it would have been like Endgame.
Yes, kind of.
But
oh my god. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Justice League 3.
I'm not saying they.
No. I know. I'm not getting mad at you. I'm telling you. What you just said is interesting because in Justice League 3, it was going to revolve around sending Flash to
the Flash going back in time.
Here's the thing, though. It's interesting because in Batman vs. Superman, Flash says a line like, I might be too early or something like that.
Yeah, this might be the wrong time or place.
That's what they have to correct in Justice League 3. Right? Like, that was what they were going to have to try to correct. Like, Cyborg would have to make sure that Flash gets sent to the proper point in time to make sure that doesn't happen. There were some ideas that were thrown around, and they did not get executed. And I remember a few of them off the top of my head. So here's a few of them. Batman was planned to die.
Of course. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. So interestingly enough, in Batman vs. Superman, allegedly, when Superman dies, there's like these crosses around his body, right? Mm-hmm. Like in the background.
Yeah.
That is actually supposed to be foreshadowing of the characters who would die.
Okay.
So there's 3 crosses, and I think that was supposed to be Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman who were planned to die.
What?
Yes.
God.
So, there was plans to be a Green Lantern. And get this. They weren't sure which one, but if they were going to go with Hal Jordan, they were leaning towards Mark Wahlberg.
Of course, yeah. They would, yeah.
That is the weirdest casting I've ever heard. Like, I love Mark. But as Green Lantern? It's the same thing with Shazam, where it's like, Shazam, baby. Like, I don't see it. Like, no, Mark, I don't think you got it, buddy. Like, so that was weird. I'm trying to remember what else, but those were the 2 big ones. Was like Batman was planned to die. There was going to be a Green Lantern, and I think so. With all that said, the Snyder Cut of Justice League is kind of its own separate entity, as opposed to like what Snyder was trying to do with the So,
you see, that sounds interesting. Having like a 3-movie like trilogy, like, well, I don't know, like, it's for a superhero franchise movie thing, like back to back, interconnected. That sounds interesting. However, it's like for Justice League, like that probably would not have.
It's
gone
different.
Very well.
It's definitely different. But. So that's kind of the history of like what
I just don't trust them to have done a good job.
Yeah, no, me either, obviously. But that's more so like the history of like what people, I guess, are kind of thinking the Snyder Cut is they think it's from what I understand, it's like we wanted to see that stuff, right? We wanted to see like the dark side and like the Lois Lane dying, but like that stuff doesn't exist. Like the only thing that exists of those parts of the storytelling were, I guess, Jim Lee did some illustrations, which I actually would be interested in seeing, like illustrations of like scenes and stuff like that. But the Snyder Cut is just a cut of Justice League, just that film. It's not a cut of like Justice League going down the goddamn line. Like, no. It's just one movie. So with all that said, John, would you say you're curious enough to where you would actually be interested in watching a 3-hour, 30-minute long cut of Justice League?
No, 100% no. No. No.
Okay, that makes...
It's too long.
Yeah, well, it is really freaking long.
No.
And it's not quite clear what it would truly consist of, actually. Like, because it's not... Sorry, go ahead.
No, saying the only way it sounds interesting is if you get the other 2 movies.
Yes.
That's the only way it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Enough. Where I'm like, but just the one week by itself, no.
Yeah. I'm on the other side of the fence, but I feel the same way. I am interested in the Snyder Cut. I'm curious about it. But I'm not gonna bug Warner Brothers for it, because I don't care. I don't care that much to where I'm gonna be like, yo, where's my hashtag Snyder Cut? Where's my hat? Like, I don't care about that crap. But I am curious about it because it's such a departure from what we got, it sounds like. Like, it just sounds weird, right? Like, with all these plans. But I know that stuff's not there. Like, I know if I watch this 3-hour, 30 minutes, it's just going to be Justice League extended cut. With, Zack Snyder's version of jokes, which is, oof. Uh-oh. Like, what was the line in Man of Steel? You know, they say it's all downhill after the first kiss. He's like, only applies if you're human. Oh, no. Uh-oh. That's not a joke. But, like, that's what I'm curious about it, but I'm not gonna, like, start moving with the campaign about it. And I don't even know, even if they did, I don't know if I would be able to sit down and watch 3 hours and 30 minutes of this theoretical Justice League cut. I don't think it's going to be worth it.
No.
I don't think it's not going to have like the Empire Strikes Back of the Justice. It's not going to have that stuff because that stuff wasn't shot. It wasn't done. It was planned. And this is even without even mentioning the fact that the producers weren't too happy with Zack Snyder after BVS.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so they kind of were like, well, we don't really want to like fire him, but we don't really want him to do justice. Those are
the vibes you get.
Yeah, so like the producers obviously kind of quote unquote meddled in like the production of the Justice League's like trilogy, I guess. And they obviously shifted their focus to making more solo films, obviously with like Wonder Woman and Aquaman and stuff like that. So I mean, do I see a reason to like have it? I don't see a reason to have it. I'm not going to be opposed to it, but like I don't really think it matters. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be the same movie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just going to be longer and with less effects and stuff like that. We'd probably get Mustache Superman, which I would actually be interested in seeing.
Yeah, of all the things, I would love to see that.
Yeah, Mustache Superman.
Give him a mustache, you cowards.
Yes, let Superman have a stash. The super stash, baby. Release the super stash.
But yeah, I just want this whole talk to be done. I wanted to release just to make people stop talking about it. Kind of like a week or two ago, I can't remember when it was, but it was like it's been going on for a while. But when even like the actors were tweeting release the Snyder Cut, I was just rolling my eyes like, oh my god, like
well,
is this really the hill we are all going to die on?
If you want my honest opinion, I think that they're saying they wanted release because they worked on a different movie, so like they said different lines because they had to do reshoots, obviously. And I'm sure, like, to some degree, the lines were maybe less cringy. Maybe. But they also could have been way more cringy. From what I've heard, Aquaman was more consistent in Snyder's cut. Like, he was less... Well, actually, I'm going to be straight up. I don't know what that means. Because what was Aquaman's character in Justice League? He was kind of just surfer bro, right?
Yeah, I was about to say he was a bro.
What?
My man.
That's what I mean. Like, what is
My
it?
Man.
What do you mean by more consistent? Is he more consistently surfer dude? Or is he, like, whatever is different? Like, there's no trace.
Or is he a sad Atlantis boy?
Yeah. Sad merman. Gal Gadot, I think Ben Affleck, Jeremy Irons, and I think Jason Momoa are the only ones who have been like, yeah, we want that cut out. And I think it's because, like, it might...
Especially Jason Momoa. He's been like...
Yeah.
Like, God, no, it's out there. Like, why don't you put it out there? Like,
again, but that's my thing, though, right? Like,
you gotta
in the other cut, it said, like, Aquaman's more consistent. Like, what does that mean? Number one, and number two, like, that if he's the one who's lobbying hardest for it, it must mean that Aquaman went through some pretty significant changes. Mm-hmm. And that's the only, like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And but you know what I mean? It's like I'm not really willing to sit down and watch 3 hours of his scenes just to see if that's true. Like, I'm good, you know. Overall, I don't know. I think it would be interesting to see, but I don't think it will happen because I'm pretty sure that the producers over at DC are like, yeah, let's just pretend that movie like just didn't happen. Just who's Ben Affleck? Who's who's the Flash? Go watch Crisis on Infinite Earths on CW, please. Please go watch that show. It's real good. Yeah, Wonder Woman 2099, right? What? Gal Gadot wasn't. Wonder Woman wasn't in Batman. Batman vs. What is that? That's not a movie we made. Like, that's what DC's doing at the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I don't think it'll ever happen because I'm pretty sure it'd be too expensive to, like. Now I see why it'd be too expensive.
Yeah. Because,
like, they'd have to go back and, like, make sure it's watchable. Unless you want to be Avengers Endgame, in which people, I guess, just don't care, because I know there's a lot of cutscenes that have like bad stuff in it, or like unfinished stuff in it. Mm-hmm. Like that scene with Robert Downey Jr. and his grown-up daughter, which is weird. Yeah. But overall, if it comes out cool, but I don't see it happening just because, like, number one, the movie wasn't very good, and I don't think it's going to improve the movie. Like, no. You know, so I guess to just wrap it up, like, I'm personally pretty indifferent to it. It sounds like I'm interested to see the production stuff behind the trilogy, but that's about it. I don't really care about the Snyder Cut of Justice League.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I think that wraps up that topic. But, John.
Yes.
You and me have been following a very particular game.
Yes.
That is made by a very particular Japanese developer.
Yes.
It is a fighting game, John.
Yes.
It is coming out next holiday season, John.
Yes.
What is this game called, John?
This game is called Guilty Gear Strive.
Ooh, that's a nice title. I like that.
Such a good title.
Can you smell the game, John?
Oh, I can smell it, baby. I can smell it. You know what I mean? It's still being cooked, but it is shaping up to be a very good meal.
Yeah, so let's talk about Guilty Gear Strive a little bit. So, a lot more stuff has come out about it. I think Arc Revo, right? That's what they call their event. Yep. They had their event, and they had a lot of quote unquote influencers, content creators come out and play the game. And I think you've probably followed it a little more than I have. I've only watched, I think, 3 videos specifically talking about.
I don't know. I'm not too sure, but
yeah, but like, let's talk about it. So, like, what do you think of Guilty Gear Strive overall so far?
Bro, it's looking real good. I think. I think, like, before, well, we heard people talking about, like, when they were just showing. It was like a stream or something. I'm not too sure. But they were just looking at the mechanics, and everyone was like, well, this isn't really Guilty Gear. It looks like they're just, like, dumbing down a lot of things, making it simpler. A lot of less aggression and just more neutral base. That's not Guilty Gear. I don't know how I feel about this. That's for the most part that was kind of the consensus.
Yeah.
But after Arc Revo, and especially I think even hearing about what people experienced in Arc Revo, it was kind of the same thing for the most part. But especially now that we've gotten all this new footage, people have been able to release their footage that they recorded. It looks a lot more interesting, and I showed Blake a over hour long discussion from Wooly from Wooly Versus. I respect his opinion a lot in terms of fighting games. He claims he's just a big fan of fighting games. He's not like a super expert. He doesn't he's not like a top 8 winner in tournaments or anything, but he's a big fan of fighting games. So it reminds me of the way me and Blake feel about fighting games. We're no experts, but we like to be passionate about the genre. Yes. But especially the way he talked about it, at least that was the first video I saw where people were talking more positive about it. It sounded a lot more interesting than initial reviews on it. Because, again, it was before, it's not as aggressive as Guilty Gear. Doesn't feel as paced. Some tools are taken away. But it's not... Pretty much the consensus was it's not Guilty Gear. It doesn't feel like Guilty Gear.
Yes.
And it feels like people were trying to play it like Guilty Gear and expect what old Guilty Gears were like. But I think now it's turning because people are realizing, no, it's not really Guilty Gear. It's a different system, a different build entirely from the past ones. But that doesn't mean the complexity isn't there. Yeah. I think that's the biggest difference. People are realizing it's not Guilty Gear like Xrd, it's something different. But it doesn't mean the complexity isn't there.
Yeah. That's kind of what I've been hearing a lot too, is they've kind of reduced, people have been kind of complaining that they've taken away the more technical aspects of Guilty Gear. But it seems like they more so just kind of streamlined a lot of them. But there are some definite fundamental changes that have kind of impacted, I think, the way the game's kind of viewed. So I think one of the big ones that I've heard is Roman cancel. A good change. A lot of people kind of this is actually okay. Is the way Roman cancel is used, which is from what I understand, it's a big slowdown. Yeah. Or if you use it raw, it just slows down your opponent. You can use it in the middle of a combo to cancel the move you're doing to slow down your opponent. I think you can use it defensively. I don't know if it has defensive uses. I think it's mostly offensive uses. I can't
remember. I think I might have seen one instance where it was. I don't know. Yeah. But I remember playing XR Rev 2, and I was like, there's 3 different versions of Roman Cat. There's yellow, red. I don't even know. Okay, I know you can slow down to keep on combo going. But yeah, it looks a lot more streamlined in this one. Yeah, and a lot more okay, I understand. Just watching it, I'm I understand what this is.
Yeah, no, I'm in the exact same boat. I like the way it visually looks, where it's very kind of clear and stuff like that. I like that. Yeah. One of the biggest ones I've heard echoed across the 3. Let me state the 3 videos I watched, and I'll actually link them if I think whatever. I watched Maximilian Dude's video about his impressions. I watched Sajam and Tasty Steve's video, or it's his podcast where they talk about it for the first while. Yeah. And then I watched the one you showed me, which was Wooly versus his video. All of them were great, but the one I've heard the most is the fact that you can block normals in the air now without having to use any of your faultless defense. And it sounds like people are kind of not upset about it, but they're kind of ooh, that's interesting. That's a weird one. Because previously you had to use some of your, I believe it's your tension gauge, to use faultless defense to block attacks in the air. But now it looks like you can block, I think, anything. I don't know if it's anything. It could be like Blaze Blue, where you can only block light attacks in the air. But if anything bigger than that, you have to use your barrier. And I concerned about it is because like if you play Street Fighter or something like that, right? The idea of being able to block normals in air would ruin the game, right? Like Ken and Ryu would be completely inoptimal because because the Shoryuken would be only used in combos and like that's it. You know what I mean? Like the Shoryuken as an anti-air would be completely invalidated. So that's what I'm kind of hearing is that like some of that stuff, like that's a fundamental change. That's like, okay, interesting, weird. But in terms of like what you were saying, where it's like it's such a different system, right? One of the things that Tasty Steve brought up in Sajam's podcast was this interesting thing that's like this Guilty Gear and the characters in it don't just have stuff from Exert anymore. They have stuff from like Guilty Gear 1 and like all the other ones, right? Like he was talking about Chip and how he has like this kind of flip kick or something like that. Like he has some sort of move and it's taken directly from, I think, Guilty Gear plus F. I forget the title of it, but it's like one of the first few Guilty Gears. And it's like, okay, so that's this Guilty Gear Strive is going to be more focused on giving the characters tools from kind of every single game it looks like, from what it sounds like. Which sounds exciting to me, but I'm a guy who hasn't played Guilty Gear in a long time. Or sorry, ever.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to say a long time. I meant ever. I've never played Guilty Gear. But I think that's interesting. Like I like the idea that they're kind of new characters now, almost, where they have like their old stuff and then some new stuff, and it'll be really exciting to see what develops with that. But you know what's interesting, John? The more people talk about it and like describe how the game's played, like it's like, oh, it's, you know, big on kind of like neutral and stuff like that, and like kind of how, you know, big on you know, like blocking in the air and stuff like that, big on using the gauge. I'm like, John, this sounds like BlazBlue a little bit.
It does, yeah.
It sounds like the same thing. And that's the weird thing. Like I'm like, this sounds like BlazBlue, and that excites me because I love BlazBlue.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was saying the same thing.
I can see why people would be upset about that, obviously, because like Guilty Gear is not BlazBlue. Yeah. But I mean, both
BlazBlue is really fun.
But BlazBlue is really fun. Both games are really fun. So it's like, it'll be interesting to see how this ultimately culminates. But I'm excited. I think this is going to be a really fun game. I think it might be more simple or more streamlined, rather. I don't want to say simple, or maybe like more streamlined, more direct and focused. But I've heard that there's a lot of stuff that like we haven't seen yet. Right? Like I remember when Wooly was talking, he said like he did this crazy like air juggle thing. Oh yes. Yeah. Off of a dust.
Dust.
Which from my understanding, I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it's like a down heavy in...
Yeah, it's like a launcher.
Yeah, in Dragon Ball. Where it's like it launches you up and you can do this crazy stuff. Yeah. Apparently, when you punished something with a downward dust or like an uppercut, right? It takes you into the air and it plays like... it lets you do like a crazy combo. And then it has a cinematic where you spike them back down. Yeah. Apparently, that freaking thing did like 70% damage. Yeah. It sounds like this game's going to be a lot more focused on doing heavy damage via like...
Yeah, and
kind of punishment tools, really. No. That's kind of it. I was just going to say, it sounds like this game's going to have a lot of high damage output. Yeah. So...
Well, I was wondering, because Wooly said that, but he said that they didn't record that because they figured it out after they recorded. I've looked for it. I haven't seen really anyone use that. Have you?
I haven't either, and that's my thing. Is like it must be something like hard to do. Maybe it's a specific setup, right?
Because Wooly did mention that like it was something from his perspective, a lot of people hadn't picked up on. Like no one had really talked about it other than him. So I was like, that's interesting. Well, because like watching it, I think he said like when your wrist gauge goes up and it has the exclamation, like kind of like in BlazBlue where your barrier is, gone and you're gonna go into a bad state, you use the dust as like a nuke of some sort to capitalize on it, and then you do your normal combo, like your normal Gatling combo.
Yeah.
In the air, which you can't do normally.
First of all, one small thing: the risk gauge, that's way too small.
No, that now that I know like what it does and its proper use, I'm like that needs to be bigger.
That was so I will never forget the Hangouts conversation where you're like, funny, yeah. where you're like the gauge is right there, it's fine. And then I'm like, no, it's right, and I'm zooming in.
Yeah, because
like,
I didn't know what you were talking about at first.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about burst gauge. I was like, no, burst gauge is fine.
Yeah,
like,
burst is fine. And then I'm zooming in on the portrait, and you see the little bar right under Kai. He's like, wait.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, wait. He's talking about, whatever that meter is. Yeah. I didn't know at the time.
Yeah, so that's risk. And apparently that's important. Like, that's real important.
Well, yeah. But, yeah, like Wooly said, the director was like, oh, well, that's something we want to be kind of hidden. So I forget what the reasoning was exactly.
I know. It's because they don't want... they said, like, they don't want players...
overwhelm people with bars.
Yes, which is like, no, I need that.
I mean, I get that, though, because when you throw in a bunch of bars... and you're new, especially if this is your first time playing Guilty Gear, you're like, what? But that bar needs to be there. Yeah, that's super. Like, I mean, it's kind of. I get it, but it needs to be there.
Yeah, I agree with you. From what I understand, it's kind of like a stun meter in Street Fighter 5 or 3.
Yeah.
Like it goes up as you take. I think it's either. I don't know if it's regular damage or blocked. I think it's both. I think if you take block damage, it goes up.
Oh, okay.
I think, because it's like, then you're getting risky, and the next hit you take just does an insane amount of damage or something like that. Yeah. Which sounds horrible for me. I'm scared. Because I block a lot. So I don't, but see, that's like a small gauge that, like, when someone's playing Street Fighter, like, I feel like if a filthy casual is playing Street Fighter, they're really like, what's that bar? Well, it's not important. Because it's not that important in the context of that game. It's like, you can put it there for us because, like, we're going to need it. But, like, the casual player is not going to be looking at that bar being like...
They'll just be like, oh, I did this cool thing. They don't know how I did it, but it was cool.
I got a stun. Like, yay, lucky. You know, they think it's luck or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And that's... I think it's fine. I think that needs to be bigger. I think... I'm fine with gauges. It's just, like... Just make sure I know what they do. Like, you know what I mean? So that's all.
I have a quick question. I haven't seen... I just forgot to watch Maximilian Dude's video.
Yeah.
His, like, I saw he went to Arc Rebel and made a video saying, like, it was interesting. There's stuff we don't know about. It looks fine right now, but then he made another one more recently.
I think it's where he uploaded his gameplay footage, which I have not seen actually.
I saw that, but because he made 2 videos, right? Talking about his experience playing Guilty Gear.
In total of Strive, he's made like 4. The first one was like initial impressions. The second one was like a deep dive into like the footage that High Fight shared.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, I saw that one too. And then the third one was like just a clip from his stream, which I actually watched, talking about like just like his initial impressions. Like he said he had a lot of fun, so that's good. But he also was like kind of echoing concerns that like they were just making it too simple or like too...
Actually, maybe I did watch that one. Maybe I'm confusing 2 videos. Yeah. Maybe I did. Okay, well, I was gonna say then never mind about my question. Well, because I've watched those videos as well, then I guess I have. A lot of my excitement is based on like the Wooly versus video.
Yeah.
Where he goes into it because, again, he does mention like we learned some stuff that other people haven't seen yet, I guess, or didn't pick up when they played. But like some of the concerns just I was like worried about too, like when Maximilian was pointing those things out. Wooly put it into a context where it makes sense, I guess, why it's in there. Like the blocking in the air, like, you know, you can do that like in Blaze Blue. So I was like, for the most part, you know, it's like okay, but then I'm not. If it's like that, then I'm not too worried. But it makes sense where if you block if you block and someone hits you in the air, you gain a bunch of risk.
Yeah.
Which you don't want because then someone will capitalize on you and, you know, you'll get launched.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a lot of things. Again, hopefully we can link it, if we'll remember, to link in the description. Because there's a lot of recontextualization that Wooly brought up that makes me go, okay, I get why they're doing this. And the risk versus reward and all that. Like, the one thing I was like, that's interesting is the corner. How if you hit someone too much in a corner, the screen will break. And I was like, my first thought before all the footage came out was, okay, well, that happens, so you can't do a huge combo. But like my experience with Dragon Ball is I can't do super long combos in the corner anyways, right? So what I'll do is I'll try to either keep going with the pressure on Blake in Dragon Ball, or I'll back off for a second and then go back in to try to do like a mix up and get Blake for even more damage. So I was like, can you do that in this skill gear? Because I assume you can. It's just people are thinking, okay, well, you can't do long corner combos. Which, again, I wasn't worried about because I can't do anyways. Mm-hmm. But then hearing, no, you can't do that. You have to choose. Do you want to back off and then go back in to get more damage? Or do you want to just go for the damage and break the wall so you get higher damage? Like, not higher damage, but you get confirmed damage and you get more meter.
Yeah, and I like that decision.
And that sounds super interesting to me. Yeah. Because I feel like in some cases I'll go, okay, let me try to get Blake more with another combo. Mm-hmm. And we'll see what happens. Or I'll just go, no, like, I don't feel in control right now, so let me just go for the confirmed damage, and then I'll get more meter. And that's fine with me.
Yeah, like, for example, like in Dragon Ball, it's like, do I want to use my Vanish to... If I use my Vanish, I'll do more damage, but I'll get you out of the corner, which means I can't go for another situation like that. Mm-hmm. Or I can keep you in the corner and just take the damage and then go for some Okizeme, which is, like, just hitting you on the ground and stuff like... Or, like, setting up attacks so that when you wake up, I can hit you with something.
So, like, hearing what you get for breaking the corner versus not, I'm like, okay, that's really cool to me.
Yes, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, but then also hearing like exactly what your meter is using. It's not just specials. It's you're using it for your Roman cancels and for keeping the pressure on your opponent.
Yeah.
Because my thought was, well, why is there so much tension? Is it so you can keep doing specials and for more of the spectacle? And if you do tournaments, is that why? But no, it's you're using your tension for specials, for like keeping your offense, and for pushing your opponent back if you feel too much pressure and you want them to back off. And I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense because like in Dragon Ball, for the most part, you're using your meter for extra damage to do specials, mm-hmm. and that's mostly it. There's vanishes, but it's mostly for keeping combos going. But for this, it's like, okay, it's not just extra damage for specials. It's, do I want to keep the pressure on, or do I want... It's also kind of like a, what do you call it? It's to get off me too at the same time.
Yeah.
So you're getting a lot of meter, but there's a lot of tools for that meter. And I'm like, okay, now that makes sense. That sounds really interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And when they were describing, like, okay, well, you're using a lot of meter to keep your opponent going. And then the concern was, well, there's not enough defensive options. I thought, actually, no, that if what I'm hearing is true, that's not correct at all. Because again, what happens with me and Blake, if BlazBlue or freaking Dragon Ball, because I'm, for the most part, doing a generalization, I do more offensive play. Blake does a little bit more defensive play.
I try to in Dragon Ball.
No, yeah, Dragon Ball is tough, that's why. But typically in fighting games, that's what me and Blake do. But a lot of times I'll go for my combo and I'll try to extend it as much as I can. I'll try to break Blake's defense, but Blake is pretty good at doing his defense. And so when I get to the end of my combos, I go, oh shoot, like I haven't been able to break Blake's defense. He's going to counterattack me and get some good damage on. So I was like, no. So if I use all my meter to go in on Blake and it doesn't work, Blake's going to whip my butt because he's going to go all in once I'm done. And that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, like it sounds like it's kind of a weird, interesting mix of BlazBlue with some Dragon Ball inspiration there. Because it's trying to prioritize offense like Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball has crazy offensive options. And it looks like it's got like the kind of almost neutral game / like mindset play of BlazBlue. Mm-hmm. So this will be an interesting game because it sounds like it's taking a lot, not just from past Guilty Gears, but
from other Arxis games.
So this will be an interesting one in terms of mechanics.
Yeah, because I was thinking like Dragon Ball, we love that game, but at the end of the day, it's like keep the offensive pressure, and that's kind of the gameplay.
Yeah, because the game gives you like 20 tools to do that.
Yeah. But I was thinking with here, it's a lot of decision making about, do I want to go with this? Okay, I can and try to get good damage, or if it doesn't work out, I could get like reversed, and my opponent could get a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And at least the way we play Blaze Blue, I'm like, this will benefit, I think, me and Blake at the same time.
Yeah.
In terms of how we both play, it won't just be like Dragon Ball where it's just constant rush down, constant offense, 24/7, and then Blake, gets overwhelmed. And I'm like, okay, well, I was just mashing buttons and I won. This is like a lot of decisions you can make and tools you have to focus on and manage. So,
yeah, I like how it's prioritizing
thinking.
decisions, which is interesting because it's like more in the moment kind of thing, and it's going to be more like quick thinking. So reliance on wit with a lot of execution. So it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be a really interesting game to see, and it'll be interesting to see how they change it going towards release. Because I mean, they're going to make changes.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a really cool game.
Yeah, but now that we know like more so. And we'll learn more, obviously, as people play more.
Yeah.
But now that we know more of how it's supposed to play and where the complexity is, because it's in different places now versus other Guilty Gears, it'll be interesting to see what they keep now that people are starting to get a hang of it, Because before it was like, okay, like, it wasn't 100%, just give us Guilty Gear Xrd again. It was like, well, we're not sure how this will play out. So we'll see. But now that people are getting more comfortable with it, we'll see what people like and want to stay versus what they want to get rid of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it'll be a great. I think it's going to be a good game regardless.
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see how like the legacy players adapt. I mean, because I don't think they're going to abandon GG.
No.
So.
Yeah, at least from what I've seen so far, it looks like something we will both enjoy really well.
I agree.
And I'm excited, dude. I'm very excited.
I am in the same exact boat.
And of course it looks gorgeous as hell. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, they said they're taking more of a movie inspiration for this one. And I definitely see it because I was watching some just raw gameplay of like intros and stuff like that. You know what I see? I also see some Injustice. Like
Really?
the way that like characters kind of show up, have an interaction, and then they get right to the fight. I'm like, wow, that seems a lot like Injustice. But I understand the movie inspiration because MK and Injustice take a lot of movie stuff. So.
Do you mean how it's like specific interactions with who they're fighting against?
No, they didn't take that from Injustice so far. It looks like it's like the same interaction, but like the way they walk up on screen and then they're just like, "Hey, you," and it's like, "Hey, you want to fight?" And
Okay, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. It's not like Kung Lao coming out here and dissing Liu Kang for looking like a whatever or something like that. But yeah, I think the visuals are gonna be great, just because it's Arxis, and those guys just kill it every single time.
Dude, this is looking up to be a good game.
It's looking up to be a really good game.
But we're so far away from release.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, that's fine. Gives them time to make some changes.
I know. I want to play it to some degree.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a alpha, demo or whatever.
Well, they'll drop I guarantee they're gonna drop a beta or something.
They'll drop a beta, but just looking at it, I'm like, oh, I want to at least play it for like 30 minutes and see what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up for Guilty Gear Strive. But hey, John, guess what's coming out, or guess what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks?
There's something. Shoot.
Wait. Do you actually want
the Game Awards?
I was just about to say, God dang it, John. No. Game Awards, baby.
All right.
Woo. Okay. So I
thought you were asking me like what it was.
Oh no. Yeah. Like,
I thought you wanted me to guess.
No. I didn't know if you were going to guess or not, but I'm glad you do. But I just wanted to go over the nominees, talk about them just a bit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So let me name them off. We got Smash Ultimate, Death Stranding.
Oh, wait, what are the not?
This is for best game.
Category.
Oh, this is just for best. I'm just gonna do best game. I don't want to go into all the crazy nominees because that's way too long. Smash Ultimate, Death Stranding, Control, Resident Evil 2 Remake, The Outer Worlds, and Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Jonathan.
All right. Where is Devil May Cry 5? What the heck?
That came out this year, right?
Yep.
That's weird. It
came out like 2-3 weeks after Resident Evil.
Is it being nominated for something else like Best Action?
It's being nominated for Best Action Game.
That'll probably win.
But Yeah, it will. I know that's like them, like, like maybe it's that they don't want two Capcom games or whatever.
Yeah, here.
But I know that's their excuse of
Yeah.
we'll give it something, just we won't nominate it for Game of the Year.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's interesting? I feel like Capcom could really take a lot home today, or home on the Game Awards.
Yeah, they probably will.
Like, I mean, shoot. That's some good stuff. I mean, okay, so here's my thing. I want to talk about this just a little bit.
Okay.
How do you feel about Death Stranding being on here?
I mean, it was always gonna be on here.
Yeah.
It's not really a surprise, but I don't know, because we haven't played it ourselves. But there's been a lot of like, oh, I love this, or I hate this game. I've seen certain scenes of and heard certain characters and scenes of this game. I'm like, oh my god, like,
yeah.
I know that's the Kojima thing, and that's what people expect out of him. But like, wow, when he gets no holds back, like, let me do what I want. Oh my god, like, Jesus.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Like, it's not the fact that it's on Game of the Year. It's the fact that it's on every category.
It is? Oh, I didn't
It's like
know.
on, like, every, like, sound design, like, sound editing, like,
Wow.
for the most part. It's like, obviously it won't be on, like, best RPG. At least I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, but
Can you imagine?
the ones where it can be on there, it's on there.
Wow. I did not see that. I didn't look through all the nominations. I should. But I just wanted to look at the Game of the Year one.
It's on so many.
Wow. I mean, I imagine, like, I've heard that the visuals are insanely good, but it's like,
Oh,
I've
yeah,
heard...
it's on best art direction.
That makes
But
sense.
I'm like, it's just, like...
It's kind of it's not, like, it's got a unique style, but
maybe it means the monsters and everything, but it's just, like, a really pretty game. Like,
yeah, and that's what
in terms of art direction, I'm like, it's... The graphics, they're kind of realistic people graphics. Like, like an Uncharted.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, Uncharted looks great, though.
Oh, yeah,
It's
but, like...
Yeah. But it's
art,
nothing,
like, art
like,
direction.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, Grizz.
Yeah,
that art direction. I'm like, that would win.
Yeah, Grizz deserves art direction.
But I'm like, that versus, like, a Death Stranding, I'm like...
Yeah. Like
that's different. Like, graphics isn't, like, art direction.
Yeah, it's graphics. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I guess I have another question is, like, how big of a chance do you think it has of winning Game of the Year? Game of the Year specifically. Other stuff is probably it's going to win quite a few things, but do you think it's going to take home Game of the Year?
I think it has the best shot of any of the other games.
I agree.
But I think Smash will win.
I feel like Smash should win.
I think...
And it's not...
I mean,
I'm not biased. I'm just saying, dude, like, if I was a random consumer who didn't play Smash Brothers, like, for an absurd amount of time in my life, if I was just casual, I would still look at Smash Brothers and be like, yeah, that game's just got...
No, I mean, I agree. I think, like, my heart says RE2 because I love it, but I'm like, but Smash Ultimate, it's Smash, like, it's not just that it's Smash, but it's a great game. Like, there's so much content, so many good decisions they made. It should win. It's probably gonna win.
My thing is, I feel like if Death Stranding wins, it would be completely out of
hype.
No, the Game Awards owing Hideo Kojima something. I feel like that they would feel like, well, we owe you because you didn't get to come and accept the award.
That's why I think it's gonna win most of the other categories.
Yeah, which is like, okay, like graphically, again, fine. Acting, great, fine. It's just like Game of the Year though. It came out like 2 weeks ago. Like,
yeah,
Smash Ultimate's been here since
November.
Yeah, since around this time this year.
And I talked to Blake about this. The shenanigans they're pulling. Last year, they were like, yo, Xenoblade 2, the window it came out. Sorry, it's a little, like, too early or too late. I forget what they said. But it won't be nominated for, like, anything because of time.
Wow.
But Smash came out, like, around the same time.
Smash came out December 12th, 2018, and it's being nominated
and I'm like,
for Game of the Year.
You guys are playing... I know, like, Blake talked about it. I know it's just an excuse. Like, we don't really care about Xenoblade 2, so that's why we're saying. But Smash, we care about Smash. Don't lie to me. Just say Xenoblade 2 won't be considered.
Yeah.
Don't give me the reason and then contradict yourself the next year.
I gave John the example of, like, if some Joe Schmo made the greatest animated film ever, but it didn't happen in award season, they'd be like, nah, it's not being
Well, yeah.
nominated. But if Quentin Tarantino made had a movie release a week before the Oscars, it would be nominated because it's Quentin
Yeah,
Tarantino.
100%. Yeah.
Like the game award shows like this, or like award shows like this, they don't care about.
No,
Like,
I know the reasoning, and of course they're not gonna care about Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But I'm just like, don't lie to my don't lie to my face.
which, to be fair, I mean, they should. Like, I mean, come on, that game did some amazing stuff. Like, that's really like
it's an anime game with scantily clad women.
So is like Kingdom Hearts to some degree.
Shut up, Blake.
I mean, like, I don't know. I think Xenoblade probably should have, but I think
should have been nominated for something probably.
If Smash Ultimate does not win, I think RE2 should take it home.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
yeah.
And let me stress, I'm not trying to knock the other games because I think the other games are probably really great.
No, yeah.
Like I actually am interested in Control. It looks cool.
That's the one where I'm like, that's interesting that one's in there.
It is right. Like I did not, because I didn't hear about it a lot. Like I knew it was being made, and I was like, that looks like a pretty cool game. But like, it didn't have the same hype that The Outer Worlds or Sekiro or Death Stranding had.
At least from what I heard, there's like kind of two camps, like, but mostly one. It was kind of like, I love this game. I think it's amazing. I think it probably maybe should be nominated for Game of the Year. It might be one of my favorite of the year. But then like you look at kind of the info, I guess, like, okay, well, it's a $60 game. Everybody says it's not that long, and there's content, but it's not like warranting against the $60. There are bugs. It's a good game, but it's not like, it's a smaller studio too, and they say this is the best game they've made, but it's not polished and has all the content you would expect out of a $60 game like this, especially like a PS4 exclusive one like this. Or was it exclusive? I don't know.
I thought it was Xbox exclusive, but
actually, it may not be. I think I might have thought it was PS4 at some point. But I don't think it is.
I believe it's made by 505 Games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I know people said people think it's the best game, but there was even people who liked it were like, yeah, there are issues like, it doesn't, from what you hear, it doesn't seem like it is a $60 game. It's maybe like a good $30 or $40 game,
Wow, these guys have a pretty extensive library in terms of like what they've made.
Yeah, but so I thought that was interesting when the game came out, where people are pointing out pretty big faults, but they can love what they want, but it's like, but now it's nominated for Game of the Year, and that's super interesting to me. Like,
yeah,
like I'm not saying it isn't a good game and it shouldn't be in there, but when you consider like where is Devil May Cry 5, and I look at like what's in that game, where was it Hideki Kamiya? I think that's his name. Mm-hmm. He's like, yo, I want to come into 5, and it's been years since the last one. I'm surpassing expectations, and I'm throwing in everything that it feels like he's been thinking about for years about what he would want to put in Devil May Cry if he got to do it again. Yeah. And he did all the things he wanted to. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, versus like Control, I think that's weird.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's interesting also because, like, coming off of, specifically for DMC, or Devil May Cry, like, coming off of DMC, which, like, left a lot of fans really bitter, and, like, that was the last Devil May Cry game for a long time, and then Devil May Cry 5 comes in and just blows everybody away.
Yeah, and I think you're hitting on the head right now, like, the buzz from what I've heard, Control versus Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah.
Like, Control is like, it's a great game, but it has its hang-ups, where 5 is like, this is probably the best Devil May Cry game we've received. It has so much love and effort put into it. And I'm like, why is Control over Devil May Cry? Mm-hmm. Not just Devil May Cry 5, but like, other games.
Yeah,
as well.
And like, I think, if I'm being honest here, I'm going to straight up say, I think Death Stranding and Control are the two kind of outliers. Mm-hmm. Amongst the other nominees, because like Resident Evil 2 remake makes perfect sense. That game looks beautiful. Yeah. That game is beautiful. That game was made with passion and love, and just freaking everybody likes that game. The Outer Worlds, a little same thing, a little close to the award show itself. I think it dropped like maybe 4 weeks ago, but like big game, hyped up for centuries, especially in the context of Bethesda completely
and Obsidian.
Yeah, Obsidian just coming in here and killing it with this game, and I've heard good things. I've heard great things. Sekiro, obviously, it's freaking Dark Souls boys up in there making an awesome game. So I mean, and Smash Ultimate obviously is
No, but like Death Stranding, I agree with you, but it has the money and Kojima behind it.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's got the Kojima touch, and it's like if it was anybody else, I feel like people.
If it was anybody else, it would not be nominated.
Yeah, exactly. Control. I don't like. That's the thing is like I'm just looking at it like, wow, did the game do that well? And I'm kind of looking around and like, well, I mean, people like it. They don't not like it. They like it, and it's like
I feel like no one's really talking about it anymore.
Isn't that weird though? Like nobody's talking about this game. It's like everybody, like people are still playing RE2 remake. People are still modding the heck out of that game for Claire and whatever she's wearing today. But like the Outer Worlds, I mean, I haven't heard too much about it, but I'm not big in the kind of RPG like that kind of Bethesda scene. And Sekiro, I still people playing that game and stuff like that because it's just so hard and fun. And Smash Ultimate speaks for itself. It'll be interesting to get to the award show and see. Which, by the way, I am going to watch it this time because I missed cool. Bro, they're announcing another Smash DLC character. I refuse to not be there.
Did you think? Well, actually, I think we talked about this last year. You thought they wouldn't announce something last year, right, for Smash?
Well, yeah, because like who the frick did? Like,
I told you. I was like, I think they're gonna announce something. And then I was right.
I know, but like but like that to me is crazy because like Nintendo generally just brings like a Zelda game or something.
Usually
right?
brings nothing.
Yeah, usually or nothing. Like they usually like the Game Awards have some hype announcements, right? Like last year was a good one. We got Smash Ultimate DLC,
so many great
Mortal Kombat 11, like some good stuff, and it's like.
No, but like, to be fair, I went into it more so I wanted to see the new Devil May Cry 5 trailer. Yeah, and I knew they were gonna play Devil Trigger. Is it called Devil Trigger?
Devil Trigger, the song, right?
Is it called Devil Trigger?
My Devil Trigger. That song, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, I forgot the official name for a second.
Yeah, it's Devil Trigger.
I knew they're playing that song live and everything, so I went into watching it for Devil May Cry 5.
That thing was hype. I love the live. They played.
It sounded terrible live. I thought it sounded terrible.
Ultimate's theme sounded great live.
Oh, did they play that?
They played Ultimate's theme live.
I thought Devil Trigger sounded terrible live, and I love that song so much. But
that song is.
That's why I went into it. I was like, I think they'll show Smash probably.
I didn't think so.
And and you look who was right, me again.
Yeah, that's fine. Hey, I'm glad you're right. I mean, shoot, we got to see Joker. That was cool. I just didn't. Cool. They just don't bring anything, and I'm like, well, I didn't think they were gonna. Don't. I didn't think they were gonna announce.
They announced Funky Kong, baby. They got those big boy announcements.
Oh yeah, they announced Funky Kong for the freaking.
They did.
That was weird. What a weird time. But one of the things for me was like, I watched a reaction video at Nintendo New York, and like usually when you watch the trailers, the directs hype for those videos, right? Like when people saw Banjo, everybody's flipping out, and you feel this like overwhelming sense of excitement. There was like nobody for the Game Awards being shown there live, and so when Joker comes out, everyone's like, "Oh my god, what the heck? Where is everybody?" Like you're flipping out, right?
Yeah.
And it's like so like now I'm like, okay, they're gonna show someone.
Yeah, they'll show someone.
They have to. Like, I don't know who it's gonna be anymore. I mean,
did you hear that people are thinking Dante will be the last DLC?
That makes sense.
Do you think? Because Devil May Cry 3 comes out on Switch in end of February, and people are saying, "Oh, what?"
Yeah, I saw that too." Here's my thing: do you think it'll be because Joker was technically Persona 5 was nominated for Game of the Year last year, right?
It was, yes.
Do you think that there will be some nomination character in Smash Brothers? And I'm not talking about for Game of the Year. I'm talking about just in general.
And I'm like, you want Norman Reedus?
But okay. Well, I wasn't thinking Death Stranding, bro. I was thinking Resident Evil. Dude, you know how sick that would be if the freaking
that would be sick.
If they did the thing with Hero where instead of just putting in like Jill and giving her like 8 alts, they put in Jill, Chris, Claire, and Leon.
Oh my god!
At least just like Jill.
See, that sounds
so cool.
I don't want to say I don't want to say like, oh, that won't happen, but I want it to happen.
I want it to happen real bad, dude.
That'd be so good.
I know we've talked about this like twice now, maybe probably more, but it's like I don't know, dude. Like I don't know who's going to be in the game. I think if I had to go top 3 right now, I feel like Lloyd from Tales of Symphonia.
Tales.
I feel like it just makes sense. I don't think he'll be the last one for this pack because I feel like that would disappoint a lot of people because anime swords boy. But
no, it makes sense. It's I think Dante does make sense.
I think Dante makes sense too, but I also feel like Resident Evil makes more sense personally.
See, I would take Resident Evil more. Because that sounds more interesting. Because Dante, I love Dante, but he would be a more sword fighter again. I don't have a problem with that. But I think Dante makes more sense.
You think? You think? You know what?
I want Resident Evil more, but I think Dante makes more sense.
Oh, that's interesting. I think Resident Evil makes a little bit more sense.
Well, we'll see who's right.
Oh, by the way,
Game Awards.
I want to stress. By the way, I forgot. Long time ago, I think in a previous podcast I said Scorpion could be in Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I'm sorry, in Smash Brothers. I'm an idiot. Yeah. I completely forgot. Mortal Kombat is banned in Japan. So, yeah, no. Scorpion will never get in. I completely forgot about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah, because I didn't know. Like, I mean, I thought Mortal Kombat was like, well, it's not as big over there, but like no, they don't have that game. So, sorry. But yeah, man, it's tough because they're both really good Capcom properties.
Yeah. They're
both big Capcom properties with a lot of legacy. Yeah. Think real quick, just a quick question. How much of a chance do you think quote unquote Monster Hunter has?
I think that has a very good chance as well.
I think so too. I mean, it's one of their best selling franchises, if not the best selling franchise.
I think that makes maybe more than the 2 we just talked about make more sense.
Bro, what if they put Mega Man in Smash?
Yo,
that'd be dope.
But I think Monster Hunter makes more sense than Devil May Cry or Resident Evil.
Really?
Just how big it is. It's their biggest game ever right now. It's I think also nominated for something. Maybe I'm wrong. The DLC. I think it might be. Can't remember. But also the fact that Monster Hunter, has Rathalos in it.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. Again, I'd rather have Devil May Cry or Resident Evil, but
in terms of a Capcom franchise, yeah. Bro. It's gonna. I don't know who the frick they're gonna put in those. I don't know. Like that's the crazy part. Like I got nothing, right? Like they dropped Banjo and Cloud. Like, is it weird that I still get the? Like when I still look at Cloud, I'm like, God dang it, Cloud's in this game. But when I look at Banjo, right, I'm like, like every time I roll over Banjo's icon, I'm like.
It's weird.
Isn't it like it's the weirdest feeling where I'm like Banjo's in Smash?
Yeah.
No, he's not. Like it's still like I'm in denial. Like I'm in this weird sense of like I just don't believe it. Like I see him, I can play as him, but I'm like my body's just like not accepted the fact that Banjo-Kazooie is in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
It's weird, bro. I don't know. All I know is that this next entry in Smash is gonna be real. It's gonna be big. I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what else is announced at the Game Awards because I mean they usually always bring some pretty cool surprises. So, I mean, in terms of other nominations, other stuff to be announced and brought in. You know what I could see? I could see Halo Infinite dropping another trailer.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I don't know if Microsoft's gonna do anything. I mean, major.
I mean, it makes sense for them to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
to be honest,
probably something like that. Other than that, I mean, I could maybe The Last of Us, but like they're now it's just waiting.
They'll probably show something else.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What else?
They'll show something.
I'd be down to see Ghosts of Tsushima because where is that game? Where did it go?
It's gone.
It's around. It's I don't know, man. I think that's. Did you have anything else? You maybe like predictions you think for Game Awards?
No, not really, because like it's such a wide
obviously
net of what they can announce. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to guess everything they could. Announce.
Me either. I'm just thinking big boy stuff that they could like. Sony's probably gonna. I think Ghosts is probably for Sony, Halo, and then Smash DLC for Nintendo. I don't think they really need to drop. Or if it's not Smash DLC, I think they might drop Mario Odyssey something like Mario Odyssey 2 baby or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I actually am definitely going to try to watch the Game Awards today.
That's good.
This time.
That's good.
So I can get genuine hype when I see freaking.
Yeah, because I had to tell Blake everything that's going on. It's like, Blake, Joker. No, I think Blake told me.
No, you told me.
Can't remember. Oh, okay.
No, you told me. You're like Blake. You sent me a picture and you're like Joker. I'm like, whoa, oh my god, what? Oh my god. And I remember.
Actually, yeah, that did happen.
Yeah, and I remember I remember texting you back. That's actually a funny story. That night, I was with I was getting ice cream with my ex-girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And so it was she wasn't the ex at my time.
Oh yeah.
But then you texted me that, and I was watching the trailer in her car, and she's like, "What are you looking at?"
Oh my god.
And I'm like, "I'm looking at the Smash DLC. This is like the coolest thing ever." She's like, "Why do you play that stuff? It's so dumb." I broke up with her. I broke up with her immediately after. Get the. What did you just say? What did you just call my game?
That sounds like something that would happen.
Yeah, get the heck.
You're no, I'm saying like your reaction. Yeah. Where you're so hyped, and like, yo, this is awesome. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did you just call my game? Get the heck out of your own car.
That's funny.
You're walking home. But yeah, no. So that's the beautiful tale of my love life. If you don't love Smash, you don't love me.
Yeah, that's a good rule to live by.
Yeah. But I think that's going to do it for this podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to us talk about some pretty crazy stuff. John, did you have any final comments you wanted to add?
Game Awards will be interesting, and can't wait for not Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear.
Oh, I can't wait for Blaze Blue either.
Yeah. When's the next Blaze Blue, people?
Sorry, bro. BB Tag's gonna probably be.
I was about to say we're never gonna get it again.
Not until 2022, 23.
Yeah.
So whenever BB Tag dies, probably.
Yeah, they'll reboot it like in 2025.
Yeah, but anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and we'll see you back here for episode 9. Take care.